Hello, everybody. I'm gonna give it just a minute to get everybody in here, or get some people in here. What's up, country Christian? Man, what a day! This came out of nowhere. I kind of knew in the back of my head that it might be coming, but I didn't know it really would. So have y'all heard the breaking news on this? Not much, just folding some laundry. Hey, does anybody know, did Gabby Petito's family file a wrongful death suit against the against the Laundries? I'm gonna look that up. Let's see. Yeah. So, hey, Wendy. All right, guys. So apparently, Gabby Petito's parents are suing the Laundrie family, and now they're suing the Moab City Police Department. So, I don't know what all they're going to get from the Laundrie family. I don't know too much about them. I don't know how wealthy they are or whatever. You know, it's not like, I don't know if the Laundrie family or, you know, well, I mean, you know, they could get money out of book deals, movie deals. So, yeah, I can see a civil suit there. Hey, don't panic. Hey, Wendy. So I just wanted to kind of give my take on the whole Gabby Petito lawsuit thing going on with the Moab City Police Department. Hello, Jackie. She's from Nova Scotia, Canada. Woohoo! Man, I bet it is chilly up there, Jackie. Pink Butterfly says they owned a juice company. They have money and a nice home, nice cars. So yeah, I mean, you gotta think though too. I mean, you know, if they get anything off of you know, movies, book, you know, book deal or whatever, you know, interviews, you'd be surprised how much people get paid to do interviews. I hear Good Morning America pays pretty good for interviews. God, let's see what Dr. Phil, Oprah, you got all the talk shows that you know pay thousands to come on their show. I need to look into that. I don't know if Dawn got paid any money to go on Dr. Phil or not. Dawn and Candace, I'd check on that. I never even bothered to check on that. So Jackie says not yet. So it's been pretty mild up in Canada. Jackie, it's 75 degrees here in Tennessee. So I'm just going to be on here till about 2 o'clock, guys, Eastern time. So I'll be wrapping it up in about 20 minutes. I just didn't want to get on here and do like a 16-hour live or anything on on this. I don't do much lives anyway. I'm trying to break that habit though. So hopefully you'll see me on here a little bit more. Just trying to do some different stuff. Let's see. Wendy says it's 64 up here in South Dakota, unusually warm. Yeah, I think it may be the calm before the winter storm, Wendy. You're in South Dakota, man. It's coming. It's coming. Not a matter of when, or if, but when. Down here in Tennessee, it's just, I mean, I think last year we maybe got 8 inches of snow at the most for the whole winter last year. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it here. So the Gabby Petito family is filing a wrongful suit death against the Moab City Police Department. $50 million. Have y'all heard that yet? Now, I'm sure they're highballing it. Country Christian says, I don't do lives much either. You have rubbed off on me. One video, I got 3,000 views. Yeah, the Gabby Petito family is filing a lawsuit on the Moab City Police Department, Country Kitchen. $50 million wrongful death. They're trying to say that that the failures and negligence that the officers had done that day helped lead to Gabby's death. Now, here's my question. Think about this, guys. I kind of think outside. I don't know. I kind of got I'm not an attorney or nothing like that, but I do kind of have like a legal mind, if you will. The attorneys for the Gabby for Gabby's family, Gabby's parents. Do you think those attorneys found issues with the Moab City Police where they were sweeping domestic issues under the rug? I mean, I know Moab's probably going to settle with them, but do you think the attorneys found a history with the Moab City Police where they sweep a lot of domestic issues under the rug? And maybe the attorneys found out that maybe this ain't the first time that this has happened, where someone a day or two, a week or two later, ended up dying as a result of a domestic issue because the police swept it under the rug. I mean, if that's the case, yeah, Moab's going to settle because they don't want that getting out. So I think the attorneys for Gabby Petito's family, they've got something on the police department. They've got them by the kahunas, I think. And I think there was like an audit or report done where they even said that they found some the officers done things wrong when dealing with Gabby Petito and Brian that day. I mean, they did separate them, but they should have arrested them. And speaking on that, guys, let me ask you this, because I'm up in the air on this one. I'm really up in the air on this one, and apparently a lot of people are too. Do you think if they had arrested Gabby and Brian, if they had arrested one of them or both of them, do you think that she would still be alive today. That's a tough one for me because they did separate them and they got back together. Hey, Justice Jane, hi, son, kisses, princess. That's a tough one for me because I mean they did separate them. They got back together. I guess my question is, I mean, if they arrested them, do you think they would have still ended up back together? Would an actual arrest of either one of them or both of them, weeks down the road, would it have saved her life? Wendy says they probably would have gone back to each other. Well, you gotta understand this too. And I just thought about this. If they had arrested Brian and Gabby for domestic, they don't live there. They're from out of town. There's a lot of legal issues there as far as coming back to court. They were, if they had to serve jail time. I don't know. I think, and here's the other thing too. Now I kind of think I know why the police were so lenient on them now. It's because they were from out of town. It's like, I think if Gabby and Brian lived in Moab, they probably would have threw them in jail and let the court system deal with them. But because I've seen this before, I've seen where a lot of out of towners, just because they're from out of town, they get a break that people that live in the area don't get. Case in point, I used to work for this guy, and we were supposed to go. He was supposed to take us fishing down in the Gulf of Mexico, and one day he just disappeared. Wife couldn't find him. We had no idea where this guy went to. He just dropped off the face of the earth. Cops were looking for him. And he did have a history of drug use. So he called the business one day, and we were like, "Where are you at?" And we could hear him asking somebody where he was at. And he was in Alaska. And we're like, "What are you doing in Alaska?" He says, "I don't know. I'm in jail too." And apparently what happened was, while he was in Alaska on drugs, he went to go buy drugs off of somebody, and they robbed him. And he went to Walmart and got a pew-pew and went looking for those people, walking down the streets of Alaska. I think Anchorage. That's where he was at Anchorage. So he must have been walking down the streets of Anchorage with a pew-pew looking for the people that robbed him. Anyway, we were thinking we're probably not going to see him for years. That's not good when you get arrested for walking down the streets with a pew-pew. You know what I mean, guys? And on drugs, So yeah, we were thinking that we wasn't going to see that guy for a long time. Well, he was back in town a week later. He come back a week later to Tennessee, 1 week. And we're like, "Tell us what, we thought you wasn't coming back. What happened?" So basically the judge told him that because he was an out-of-towner, go back to Tennessee. don't ever come back here. Because if you come back here and get in trouble again, you better not come in front of me. So anyway, the judge basically just slapped him on the wrist, made him pay a big, huge fine because, obviously he knew the guy had money, owned his own business, and, pretty much said, chalk up your losses and get the hell back to Tennessee, bud. Don't come back. So I kind of know how out-of-towners kind of get treated in the system there. So that's probably, unfortunately, what the cops were thinking. Let's separate these people, and maybe they'll get out of here and be out of our hair. That's probably exactly what the police were thinking. But again, that's a bad move, and we all know that now. It's coming back to bite them in the butt. And speaking of that, let me tell you, going forward, what this is probably going to do. I mean, this is going to change how police handle domestic issues going forward. I mean, we're talking $50 million here, guys. They ain't suing them for like 10,000. They're suing them for 50 million. Now again, I'm sure the city will settle with them. They probably won't get near. They probably won't get close to 50. Hey, Kim. But could they get 20 million? I can see that. Maybe 10. Yeah, they definitely messed up. And going forward, I think a lot of police departments are going to be a lot stricter on domestic issues when they go to them, which in most states, I think here in Tennessee, I mean, when there's a domestic issue, you both go to jail. No ifs, ands, or buts. Don't Panic said, well, if they treated Gabby as the aggressor instead of Brian, they also didn't call the witness that saw Brian hitting Gabby. They definitely dropped the ball there. Yeah, I mean, and again, don't panic. I mean, if the city has a history of sweeping domestic issues under the rug, the attorneys for the Petito family, they got them by the kahunas. If I'm the city attorney, the city mayor, anybody representing Moab, hi Debbie, and they've got a history of sweeping, domestic issues under the rug, I wouldn't want that to come out, in a trial, because then the world would know it and it'd make the whole city look bad. Wendy says that's not necessarily true. I called 911 for domestic in Tennessee, and my late husband went to jail, but I didn't. Okay. How long ago was that, Wendy? Well, I think someone has to go to jail now in Tennessee if there's a domestic. I'm going to look it up here real quick. Let's see here. He was charged with aggravated assault. Oh Lord, look at all this stuff you get on the internet looking stuff up now. But hey Charlie K. Yeah, I think in Tennessee, if there's someone, from what I understood, someone is going to jail. I've heard some people say both people go to jail. Lord, I think you can even go to jail now for having I guess they consider it a domestic where you're yelling at each other. Have y'all heard that? See, that's what I thought. Don't panic. I mean, that's what I thought. But again, it could be up to the officer's discretion as to whether both parties go to jail. Um, I'll have to look into that. This whole Gabby Petito thing is going to have me doing a lot of research. Yeah, Wendy, it may have changed, but hey, have you guys heard that you can go to jail for domestic if you're screaming in front of your kids? Like if mom and dad are screaming in front of their kids and just, you know, um, having a hoedown. I heard that they can, go to jail for domestic if they're doing it in front of their kids without getting physical, just screaming at each other. That's what I've heard. Hey, Marie Rue. But again, I'm gonna get off here in about 5 minutes, guys. I just wanted to get on here real quick and do it live. Um, but just to recap, Gabby's family is doing a wrongful death suit on the Moab Police Department. They're citing failure and neglect or negligence, which led to her death. Um, and I'm wondering, will this change how police handle domestic issues in the future, not just in Moab, but every department in the United States now. You know, um, Gabby's family said, it's time to hold police accountable. So I just kind of wonder if their attorneys found an issue where Moab has been sweeping a bunch of domestic issues under the rug. You know what I mean? Um, and do you think Gabby would still be alive today, guys, if they'd arrested one or both of them? Let me know that. Do you think they'd still be alive, or she'd still be alive if they arrested one or both of them? That I'm on the fence on that. It's one of them things where we'll never know truly, but I just kind of like to see what you guys think. Thank you, Strawberry Kisses. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. Um, Betty says I basically buddied up with the guy while laughing at her behind her back because they were mad with their own marriages. I do believe, I do believe she would still be alive, Charlie K says. Yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I think being arrested is a little bit different than just separating them. There's a little bit, I mean, because if you get arrested, um, you at that point you've got to deal with the legal system, and there's a lot more to it than just being separated. You know what I mean? So I do think that the outcome may have been a lot different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who's to say a year later if they got back together, 6 months later if they got back together? Is this one of those scenarios where if they stayed together, no matter what you've done, the outcome would have still been the same? It will just happen maybe way down the road. Yeah, Betty says her heart goes out to the cops too. Well, I heard that the cops were just trying to be sympathetic and or not empathetic and just trying to be nice. But I mean, when you got a job to do, uh, being empathetic is one thing, but you still got to do your job. I mean, I mean, if it's a domestic issue and you're a cop, I mean, you can still arrest somebody and still be empathetic, you know. And especially in a domestic issue. I mean, if I was a police officer and I had to arrest somebody for domestic issue, depending on, like if they were just not getting along and it ended up getting a little bit physical, I'd try to be a little, I'd have to arrest them, but I'd have to throw some empathy in there too, say, sorry, you guys are, having issues. You might want to seek help, but I mean, I've got to do my job. I have to arrest you. You know what I mean? I mean, just because you arrest somebody doesn't mean you have to be a jerk about it. Not unless it's not unless it's, wanted, like you're chasing somebody that just robbed an 80-year-old lady. Yeah, was it Chris Rock said? Yeah, you got an ass whooping coming when they catch you. So do you guys think that the Petito family found issues with the Moab Police Department, where they were possibly sweeping a bunch of domestic issues under the rug? Makes you wonder, don't it? Yeah, domestic issues are some of the most dangerous calls for police to go to. Well, guys, it is 2:00. I hope you enjoyed my little live. I might get on here and do one for like a whole hour tomorrow. I'll try to get on here. Let's do this, guys. Tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. How about I come on here and do an hour live with you? How's that? Let me know if y'all would like that. And then maybe I'll put out a video tomorrow evening for y'all to watch too, for your viewing pleasure. So what I'm thinking about doing is just coming on here at 12 and every day and just hanging out with you guys. Maybe do a live between 12 and 1 every day and just hanging out with you. We'll talk a little bit about this, talk a little bit about that, and see how it goes. But anyway, guys, if you watch this on replay, drop some comments. Let me know what you think about the whole ordeal. Let me know what you think. And now I've got to figure out how to end this live. Oh, there it is. I was like, I got to figure out how to end this live stream. Oh, but one last thing. You know what I got to do before I leave, don't you guys? You got it. I'll see you on the next video. Bam!